Hello, everybody. This is Epic Wolf, and I am on the Checkpoint Reached Gaming Network channel. Blah, blah, blah. And today we are going to be doing the top 10. And because, in the spirit of the internet, I thought the first one should be fails. We all know that the internet is full of fails, and the internet, in some cases, is just a big fail, all in all. But taking a bit of a sidetrack away from the internet and more to the gaming side of the internet, we're going to check out the top 10 video game fails of forever. So, starting the list off with, before I start, I always have to mention something. I have the internet all the time, I'm into something. The rules for the list is to be a video game fail, it's not necessarily a video game that is absolutely horrible in its own right. Yes, we are looking at you, Sonic 06. More or less, I guess, a game where we had high expectations for it, and it just turned around and shit on our consoles, that sort of stuff. So, without further ado, let's begin. Kicking our list off at number 10, we have to go to a quite tragic fail, actually, which is Duke Nukem Forever. Now, for those of you who know who Duke Nukem is, he was mum and dad game character, let's just put it that way. Before the ages of 3D, there was Duke Nukem. And looking back on it, he was clearly taken from a lot of 80s movies, using a lot of quotes such as, I came here to chew gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of gum. Now, the problem with this game is not its gameplay, as it did have good gameplay, but the fact that no one wanted a Duke Nukem anymore. He was too old to be hips the kids, giving Duke Nukem such a shitty rating as a character. Not only that, though, the dialogue for Duke Nukem was terrible too. No one wanted to hear poop jokes anymore. We are much sophisticated now, and it all has to be sex, sex, and more sex. So, that's all I've got to say about this game. It was just a tragic fail in its own right. Moving on. Number 9. Yes, the next gen Nintendo sales. They wasn't through the roof, wasn't through the floor, but to be honest, through Mario's heart. Now, we all know that selling things isn't easy, but when you've got something that is a 3D console in your hand and a oversized DS, in my opinion, but it's a decent console, no, don't get me wrong, the Wii is alright. It's so bad for what it was. So Nintendo spent a bit too much, predicted that this many would sell, and then the arrows wasn't pointing upwards, let's just say that, and then we got stuck with not complaining Nintendo, but not a very happy content Nintendo, and then the chances of less games coming out on Nintendo consoles because, well, guess what? Third-party companies will not trust Nintendo. So we've got a massive spiral here. Now, what could this mean for Nintendo? Well, more original games, probably as partnerships. If you do get partnerships, it'll be have to be from really trusting companies, and let's hope that the next generation is better. Moving on. Number 8. Now, we've all heard the story of Stop and Swap. It was on the amazing platformer Banjo-Kazooie. And for those of you who actually did bother to collect all 100 jiggies, like Mumbo said, Mumbo's a liar. You get shown a secret in the next game. Now, he sort of stretched the truth. It had nothing to fucking do with the next game. It was just things that you could use in the next game. These are the Stop and Swap items. He showed you an ice key. He showed you inside Shark Food Island. And if my memory serves me correctly from my childhood, come on, Inaros, speak to me. He also shows you the egg in Gobi's Valley. At the time, everyone was like, the hell is this? All we know is it's called Stop and Swap. Now, we know that the items were used in the next game because Mumbo said himself that you collect all 100 jiggies. So people went out to try and collect them. Now, those people who did try and collect them probably got met with surprise as it was absolutely impossible to access the areas where these items are. Now, the reason for this was actually because of the way that the items were planned to be used in the next game. There's going to be used by something called Hot Swap, which is where you take out the cartridge of Banjo-Kazooie and within about 10 seconds put in the cartridge for Banjo-Tooie, and it was like the retro equivalent of DLC, I guess. But then with the newer versions of the Nintendo console, you had to do it within a second, or your game would crash and your power would corrupt, and kids would be crying like little children. But for Game Sharkers, they did learn that if you went into the sandcastle and you type in a code, for instance, now you can see a nice ice key, which you can have for free. It would unlock the areas where you could go and get these items. Although it was pretty useless, it was just basically for your dopamine injection because you collected everything. Now let's move on to something a little less heartbreaking. Number 7! And moving on. Yes, we're going to carry on ass raping Nintendo because that's what YouTube is for, hey? We've already moaned about how its stupid DLC system in the retro days failed and how it cannot even make money back. Don't I feel like a douche right now? Anyway, so we're going to be talking about Nintendo Disk Drive. Now, for those of you who don't know, history lesson alert. Before discs, we had cartridges, and, and these cartridges had limited space. Due to limited space, instead of having round, amazing Lara Cross with round titties, we had polygon Lara Croft with pyramid titties. Now, as you can see, there wasn't a problem with this back then. This was like realistic quality back then. But then the era of disc came, and you could save more memory onto disc. So the problem is, the disc drive was a fail. Sales went down. It was buggy. No one liked it. And then an amazing hero came along called PlayStation, and the history of PlayStation, which I'll discuss another time. Anyway, a hero came along called PlayStation, who solved the whole disc problem. But Nintendo fucked it up. And ironically, they still sort of use cartridges today in their 3DSs. That's ironic, that, isn't it? One of the first consoles to actually openly do 3Ds, a cartridge, which is sort of primitive, but well. Next, and number 6. Now, I really, really didn't want to do this because I'm a huge fan of the other Scroll games, and to say it was a fail in an old school game, it breaks my heart. But the show must go on, so anyway, stop crying. So we all know the old school game starts off with Arena, Daggerfall, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, and then you get Battlespire, Redguard, Shadow. So yeah, so must I go on? I'm a huge fan of Elder Scrolls, and so many people. And when Arena came out, everyone loved it. Glitchy, I know. And then Daggerfall came out. Yeah, still glitchy. They brought out the side games, including Battlespire, which was not a canon game, but compared to Daggerfall and Arena, it was a standard of canon games. And it sort of suffered a bit because it still faced the same bugs that the two previous games had. Anyway, after resurrecting the series with Morrowind, such a short team led by Todd Howard, they had Oblivion waiting on the Xbox 360. It was supposed to be a launch title for the Xbox, but again got postponed just to make the game a bit better. Now, with the Xbox 360 came the online, and with the online came the option of DLC. And I guess any Elder Scrolls fanboy would love to think that they could play an amazing RPG and then play more RPG with add-ons. For the first add-on, it was Horse Armor. Now, I know what you're thinking. What's wrong with horse armor? Well, for a fanboy who wanted to play more RPG and only could dress a horse, and we already have internet games that we can dress a horse, so I guess it's not too different. Uh, yeah, many fanboys didn't like it, and they started ranting, saying Bethesda wanted to make money, this isn't real DLC, blah, 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 blah. Now, not only did it just turn into this, but then it also made it so meme. So, for instance, say for Mass Effect 3, I'll use that as an example. Say they release a DLC for that where Shepard gets a red armor. Say this DLC was crap and it wasn't worth the money you paid for it. It would be known as horse armor. So what makes this a fail? Well, because not only did Bethesda create terrible DLC, but they created an amazing meme. Moving on. No. You're not making me do this one.
Yes, I am.
Well, but why?
Because, are you going to get paid this month?
You don't pay me anyway, but you can't make me do something that ruined my childhood.
I don't care. You march out there now and you do that goddamn top 5 or top 10, but this is 5.
Learn to count. Number 5.
What was it?
Yes, we were all waiting for it. The Sin of Sega. Sonic 06.
Too many S's.
Now, I know you're thinking, cliche, yeah, it's been done before, he's on it, but no, not top 10. Yeah, we know what, go fudge yourself. Now, I'm putting on this list because it had so much promise. Reinventing the way we looked at Sonic. We had a new character, Silver, with telekinesis. Shadow had new powers, and he was still an emo. And then look what they went and did. We had glitchy controls, platforms that didn't spawn properly, speed run levels where if you trip over an object, apparently you still fly a mile while having a flip fit in midair.
It's a pebble.
And to make matters worse, you had speed running levels again, where you couldn't tell what was a platform or not because it wasn't marked out properly. You would fall off everything. If a robot shot you, you probably did a backflip and died. There was levels where you got to jump on a whale's back and the whale didn't let you grab onto its back. Tail couldn't fly far enough. Knuckles trying to make him glide about was like trying to land a plane in real life. Trying to play the game itself was a soul-rendering experience. The second level with Zero, trying to get the ball and the hole, and I don't even need to elaborate on that one. So yeah, they fucked it up. Although, I should actually add though, the original lead developer for this game had a better idea for it. It was still going to take the same storyline, but it was going to be a lot better. He left, and then some knowledge came along, rushed the game, and then we got Sonic 06. So, no, that's it. I'm done. Number 4. Right, so back in the day, we had Mario, the midget who jumped on turtles, abused Goombas, and smoked mushrooms. And then we had Sonic, the blue hedgehog that destroyed robots and broke animals out their life support machines and then abused scientists. You know, so that sounded a lot like politics. Anyway, so we had these two characters. One was the mascot for Nintendo, one was the mascot for Sega. Now, Sega and Nintendo weren't the best friends in school. Sega used to bully Nintendo, Nintendo used to bully Sega. That sort of thing. It was a love-hate relationship. And one of them lost. Sega. Yes, you see something like of Sega consoles these days, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about how a hedgehog, a speed hedgehog who's faster than the speed of sound, lost to an overweight, turtle stomping, mushroom smoking Italian. Seriously, I mean, it's like watching some midget fight Mike Tyson. It doesn't happen. Mike Tyson does not lose anyway. Well, he does. He just bites off your ear if you beat him. But that doesn't happen. What? How does an overweight plumber? Never mind. But yeah, as you could tell, Sega failed. And what made them fail? Well, they had a shitty game like Sonic R, for instance, and the Dreamcast, which also was a console that went down the shitter. So yeah, Sega just failed with their consoles, and Sonic, well, Sonic is now Nintendo's bitch. Moving on. Yes, now we're on to number 3, the magic number. And what better way to celebrate the magic number than with an Xbox? Now, don't get me wrong, before any fanboys come and go, oh, we hate you, Xbox is better than everything, we're just going to shoot you up right now and just say PC's better. End of. But anyway, we're not focusing on the Xbox, because I do quite like Xbox, but mainly on the attachment for the Xbox. That's right, we're talking about the Kinect. No, we're not calling it the Kinect because it's Kinect, alright? So, there was once a time where game consoles was just sit down, click buttons, play, and do nothing with your lives apart from be a lazy son of a bitch. But then, we came along with their motion this, motion that, move about this. So fair enough, yeah, Nintendo tried to take their own approach. But then for Microsoft to then go, oh no, we want this, and throw the world's shittest camera ever onto an Xbox, throw about 3 or 4 games out called Kinect this, Kinect that, connect this to Uranus because nobody gives a shit. And we now get a heap of games that no one ever wants that goes for about £1 in any game store. Yes, we are talking about Connected Ventures. Now, if anyone's actually played a Kinect game, you know that they are the crappiest controls ever. You lean to the left, your avatar wants to go to the right. You lean to the right, your avatar puts his middle finger up towards you. It had annoying controls. There was levels where you had to stop leaks in a water tank. When you put your hand out, your avatar started having a fit. So it wasn't very easy to use. I mean, yes, it was interesting using Skyrim and sharpening Fusho Da, but for anyone sitting in their bed on a sick day of school with a sore throat trying to sharp Fusho Da and they end up freezing their companion, yeah, not going to be a good idea. And number two, Fez. Yes, I'm talking about Fez. And for all you watching, I'm not on about the Matt Smith Fez is a cool Fez. I'm on about the Fez, the annoying jump game where apparently you're a character wearing a Fez. There's a theme of Fezes going on here. That's why it's called Fez. Anyway, so I'm not going to go into details, mainly because I can't remember the name, and it's just a stupid internet thing. So one game critic or whatever called the person who made Fez a scumbag. And then Twitter, being the battlefield of all companies, sat there and allowed each game critic and game developer to tit for tat and send fuck you this and stuff you that and this, that and the other. And then the diva tantrum of the century from the game developer, he decided, nope, I can't take this anymore. I'm not going to make Fez 2. Oh yeah, for those of you who didn't know, there might have been a Fez 2, but not anymore. Now if you ask me, I personally don't blame the game critic. I don't think you should have called him a scumbag though. But if the game he played was crap and he made some bad remark, I guess the game critic was in all right. But I do think that the game developer overreacted by cancelling a game and then making out like it was all hard done by and saying I should commit suicide and that and the other because to be honest it's just dramatic teen stuff. So yeah, that is a fail. I know we reached number one, but it's time to recap and take a look at the other fails, which in my opinion are quite funny and whatnot. So anyway, number 10, we've got Duke Nukem No No. And number 9, we've got Next Gen Nintendo not using a calculator and fucking up. At number 8, we got Stop and Swap. Number 7, we got Nintendo Disk Drive Don't. And number 6, we got Oblivion Horse Armor Antics. And number 5, we've got Sonic 06. Sorry to say, but this game sucked ass. Number 4, Sonic versus Mario. Mario kicked ass because he's smoky so strong in the mushrooms. Number 3, we've got Xbox Kinect kicking in the face because it's crap. Number 2, we've got Fez because it's funny. I did find it funny. And then now we've got number 1, which is Nintendo Virtual Reality Console Thingy Majiggy. Yes, any of you who knows anything about gaming hardware knows that this thing sucked ass. It sucked more than ass. It sucked everything around it and then sucked the next person's ass. It was horrible. Now, it was like your original 3DS. You looked into it and you got two different images displayed, one on your left eye and one on your right eye, creating this 3D appearance. So, for instance, you'd be playing tennis and it'd look like the ball's actually coming towards you and the person's moving because you're seeing it from two different angles as if you would in real life. Fair enough. But the problem with this was that this is only displayed in red. If you played it for too long, you would get a headache. It was hard to position it right. You'd have to duct tape it to your forehead or lay on the ground, something stupid like that. And to be honest, how did that thing ever make it out the shops? It was just horrendous to see that they charged loads for it. And I don't know how much it is in dollars or pounds, but I know that it was expensive because the Angry Video Game Nerd said so. Yay. Now just imagine this. Billy goes to Ben's house. Hey Ben, what you got there? "Well, I just got the virtual reality Nintendo thing." "Oh wow, that's really cool, Billy. Can I have a go?" "Yeah, sure you can, Ben." 20 minutes later. "Oh my eyes! My freaking eyes! Mom, call an ambulance! His eyes have gone!" I digress. So as you can see, we've had a history of headaches in Nintendo, whether it be the next Final Fantasy game, 3DS, or the virtual reality console thingamajiggy. So yeah. And now moving on, because we all love fucking with Nintendo on YouTube, don't we? We're now going to talk about the N64 disk drive. Now, before the days of discs, and yes, we're going to a history lesson, kids, so sit down next to your fireplace. Anyway, before the days of discs, we had what we call cartridges. Now, cartridge, Thank you for watching this amazing video, my friends.
Hope you enjoyed it. Please check out all our other videos, and of course, comment
Rate
and
and
subscribe.
subscribe.